All right, all right, all right, all right. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated. Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is Essentia water. Cause she bougie. These were 3 for $5 at some spot, and then at other spots they're $5 each. So whenever I can find them in this, what is this? In the quart, or the 1.5 liter, I go on ahead and buy it. Again, I am sleepy. Thank you guys so much. I don't know why I can't get to sleep on a Tuesday night to wake up on time on Wednesday, but this is where we're at in our lives. Okay, so let's jump into the first topic. So we did have the Democratic debates last night. I didn't watch it, or was it last night or the night before? I didn't watch a girl because she works at night, and so she cannot watch them. But I tried to watch the highlights later on different social media platforms. And something that popped out to me, which I think popped out to a lot of people, is Marianne Williamson. Sis talked, well, she's not a sis, but sister talked about reparations. And I have mixed feelings about reparations in general, because I feel like it is, I feel many things, which are, there are going to be a lot of Black people who are going to feel a certain way about it and want me to, are going to be mad at me, but I'm going to say how I feel about it. Reparations make me uneasy because, one, I don't think that handing out descendants of slavery X amount of dollars is going to change anything. So I don't, less is like 40 acres and a mule, like, okay, but like, who knows how to till land or like work on land anymore? It's not a skill that the Blacks have anymore, at least not all over, right? And then I don't know what it could be. Like, I feel like the only thing of reparations that would make sense in this country for me would be for just no more gerrymandering, no more not poll taxes, like gerrymandering, things with political stuff that cause Black people to be less involved, disenfranchised, like more education put into certain neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the reparations that I want. I don't want monetary reparations or land. Like, I want there to be a concerted effort to help those who are descended of American slavery in being better, like more, like all the people that are in jail for drugs, like to come out and be free rehabilitation. Families get united for men who are in prison, women who are in prison for economic things. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously non-violent stuff. I'm not saying you free all the Blacks from prison. I'm just saying, like, those are the kind of reparations that I want. I don't think that they are coming any kind of land or monetary sense, because I don't know that that is going to solve the inherent problem. So like maybe there needs to be a caucus or like a quorum of the most educated Blacks, not most educated Blacks, but you know what I'm saying? Like a quorum of people who know and who are honest, which is really hard to get, and fix it. But from that, we would need honest people. We would need honest public servants. And we don't have honest public servants in any country. Right? I mean, we have a few, right? But the majority of them are made up of people who are trying to make money for themselves. So like I just don't know how we could do it in a way that I'm like, this is what we need, But anyways, Marianne said that she talked about reparations and what it was and how we've had such an economic gap between Blacks and whites in this country due to 250 years of slavery and the 100 years after slavery and unfair treatment of Blacks. And I was like, yes, I like what you're saying. However, I don't know if she has a plan. I don't know if anyone has a plan in order to fix it in a way that I personally think would be actually beneficial to the culture. So that's what I'm trying to say. Not that I don't think reparations need to happen. I just don't think they need to happen in a way where, at least from when I hear the word reparations, what I think of, I want the reparations to be something that's a little less obvious, like no money, no land. Like, let's give us opportunities. Let's give us education. Let's give us education to know better. And then if people still choose to like do whatever, then I get like, that's fine. But like, I would really want them to like let go of, like, they need to have more sex ed in high school, and they need to have a full year or 2 years of financial understanding. Like, I had 1 semester of stocks and economics. No. And this is not even for Black kids. This is for all kids, especially the poor. We need to have some kind of year-long financial class for kids to learn about, and it needs to be mandatory. It can't be like, oh, if you're on the college track, then you take the finance class. No, everybody needs to know about this country's financial district and how it manages, and about stocks, about bonds, about loans, about everything, how to buy a house, what it would entail. Like, that needs to be part of our formal education. And if we need to start in middle school, then hell, let's start in middle school. But I think that is the way to help people be better. I mean, there are obviously going to be some people who aren't going to get it, right? There are people who graduate high school not knowing how to read. There are people who the literacy rate, you know what I'm saying, who don't know how to comprehend. Like, I know that there's going to always be those people, but I think that there are some people who would definitely benefit from that. And I think as a whole, our country would be so much better if there were more people who were more financially literate and actual like literate to understand what's going on in this country and how to succeed and be successful. Give them the tools and then see what they do with the tools, you know? So anyways, that's what I think. Thank you guys so much for joining us. 16 likes, 51 people in this room. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you haven't. And let's move on to our next topic. So I'm going to be watching Marianne. I mean, just to see, like, you know, I haven't really picked out any, like, Bernie. I'm just like, I get what Bernie's trying to do. And I think in a world where things were fair, he might be president. But I'm looking at Elizabeth Warren too. I'm also looking at the, you know, Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. Like, excuse me. Ooh, sorry. I just haven't deep dive into it because there's just been so much going on. And I'm just kind of, I don't know. It feels like I'm worried, and I feel like if I pay attention, I'm going to jinx it, and Trump is going to win again. I don't know why I think that. Anyway, speaking of politics, Cardi B is really jumping on the politics train. And I think that as much as I feel like she still doesn't sound like she's super informed, I think that she's going to get a lot of people who are like not informed and don't give one F. She's going to keep those people in line, because all of her videos, are all of her little Instagram thingies that people talk about, where she talks about, you know, politics, get like 3 million views. Now, I don't know how many of those are Black. I don't know, Cardi. I don't know how many of those are American. But what I'm saying is that she's probably getting people who've never actually thought about politics or never cared about what's going on. She's getting them to care, especially because the Republicans are coming at her. Like, one of the videos that she put where she's wearing red pants and she's got like a very patriotic look, she talks about just people like becoming aware and paying attention to the Democrats who are running for office, or who are in the debates, who are running to be the Democratic nominee. She talks about them, and there's all these people in her comment section that are like, Trump 2020 and Trump this, Trump that. And I thought to myself, like, she's not even talking about Republicans. Like, sometimes she does, but for the most part, she's just talking about people educating themselves, and people are very upset about it. And I think that that means that she's actually doing something. The fact that Republicans are like, you just need to stick to rapping. I hate when they say anything to, I mean, I know I've said that about people, but like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I guess because I'm biased and I like Cardi B, like, I'm just like, don't be telling Cardi what to do. She can do whatever she want to do. People in the Midwest love her. She met with Bernie Sanders, so she's a huge Bernie supporter. So that video that I'm talking about has 7 million views. And she's just, you know, whenever she's just being like chill, talking about stuff, they just want to come after her like she doesn't know what she's talking about. And I'm like, you just trying to be the devil and stop her from educating folk. That's what I feel like. And I don't ever say be the devil, because, you know, girl, she don't believe in the devil. But I just think that that is what it is. That's just my opinion on that. Okay, so did I talk about Jermaine Dupri a couple of weeks ago? I think I did. And since then he's kind of backtracked, and he's kind of been like, well, I didn't mean this, that, and, you know, and people have been like, you know, Jermaine Dupri is so deaf, like tone deaf and like culturally deaf. And it's just been like really interesting, the backlash that a lot of, especially men, have come forward and have called out a lot of Black women who are rappers who aren't talking about their right? So we have, Rhapsody, who I started following. We have Kamaya, who I started following. And then we have this girl who I started following before. Her name is actually Chichi or Chica, but her like Instagram name is Orana or something like that. And she did a whole clapback, which if you follow me on Instagram at Just Call Me Wa, she did a whole clapback on Jermaine Dupri and then wrote the rap, like did a rap. Her name on Instagram is Oranica. So Oranicuhh. And she like talks about how, you know, in the industry it's hard, and if you want to help a sister out, then help a sister out, and here are the people that are dope, you know. So I thought that was really interesting, just as a little follow-up. Another topic that we're going to talk about is Meek Mill. So Meek Mill was, I think not his case was dismissed, but he got another judge, because the judge who was trying him and giving him all of these sentences, she just was really biased. And it was a Black woman. She did not like Meek Mill's, girl. And I don't know why. She just wasn't fair with his sentencing. And the fact that he's on probation and he makes his money from, you know, touring and being an artist, and he can't really do it because of these strenuous restrictions put on him for a crime that he committed 10 years ago. And it wasn't, I don't even think it was a violent crime. Like, it's just like the punishment doesn't fit the crime in his case. And I know that I've kind of been like, nah, who cares about Meek Mill? But now that I started to do more research and realize that it really isn't fair, it's just kind of like interesting that the person who's doing this to him is a Black woman. So normally I feel like, oh, you know, it's just trying to keep the Black man down, or not trying to keep the Black man down, but like, you know, the things are putting in place for Black men to not succeed when it comes to the judicial system and them being in that system. And it just feels like, you know, this Black woman is a part of it too. And I don't know what he did to her, but she's like against him, because she can't even be like neutral about it. So there's that. Speaking of another rapper in court case is A$AP Rocky, and his white friends came to his aid, as I thought. Trump came, and he pleaded not guilty, and I guess he's being, you know, charged and tried in Sweden, which is just like, whoa. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy that his white friends came for him. I really honestly meant no ill will when I said his white friends can help him, and they are. So congratulations, boo. Like, I'm happy for you. So everyone's, you know, people are like, oh, he didn't even do what they said he did, that he was being harassed and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I don't have any say. I don't understand. You know, I don't know what happened. I don't know the culture. I don't know. So I'm not as informed in the whole situation as much, but I do know that he said some things in the past that, you know, you're allowed to feel. He's allowed to feel like he is not a politician and he doesn't have anything to say about, you know, race relations in this country. But for him to go as far as being like, that's not my experience. I'm in Beverly Hills and I'm in Soho. And it's just like, that's elitist and annoying. And like, now, you know, you are in a place and got yourself fucked up, and now your white friends need to come to your rescue. It's just what it is. Like, and they did. So I'm happy for him. Also, another thing that happened, I saw briefly, and I don't have any details on it, and I believe the person is Future, but to me, A$AP Rocky, Future, 21 Savage are all the same person. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't distinguish their music. I feel like they just all came out at the same time, and I just didn't care, you know? I would throw Meek Mill in that situation too, but now that I've seen and understand who he is, and I've separated him from that group, even though they probably have nothing to do with each other, but for me, I just like, I don't know. So anyways, Future was in a foreign country, and I can't remember I don't know if it was Berlin. I can't remember where he was, but his bodyguard got knocked out, and he was like across the street, and there was some comment that he should have jumped in and helped his bodyguard, but I'm like, his bodyguard is bigger than him. And that person, whoever hit him, got a really clean shot and knocked him out, and he was on the ground, and they had to call the police. And then Future was across the street, like trying to protect himself. Like, the bodyguard, that is, you know, unfortunate, but I don't think that Future had any obligation to jump in, especially if he felt that he was unsafe and that he was being surrounded by a mob. So it's like, if that speaks to what happened to A$AP Rocky, and that when these Black artists go to other countries and, you know, just some rabble rousers in these countries decide that they're going to take a shot at these rappers because maybe because of the image that the rappers put out there, that they're so hard and tough, and that these people in other countries are just waiting for opportunities to, you know, shine for the gram and act up in social media and be like, yeah, A$AP Rocky ain't shit, and yeah, Future ain't shit, like we fucked him up or whatever. I mean, I think that's quite unfortunate. But unfortunately, you can't control, you put out a certain image, and there are going to be things that come back at you. And not to say that you deserve it at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that in these cases, maybe rappers who do have this sort of persona need to come with more security, because people are going to try to test that, especially foreigners who don't realize that it's an act, you know? So I think that is it Sweden again, Lin J? Because then it's both A$AP Rocky and Future is both Sweden. So I don't know what's happening in Sweden, girl. They be acting up over there. So anyways, yeah. So that is like, I think it's unfortunate that this is all happening to these men, and I don't think any of them deserve it. I just think, unfortunately, just because of the way it is, like, either the countries need to have, I mean, how are they going to do that? How is a country supposed to control its populace when it comes to visiting artists from other countries? I don't know how to solve it besides them having more security on themselves. All right, we're 15 minutes in. Am I frozen? I don't have no one's commenting. Hope I'm not frozen. Let me check. Sorry, if I'm not frozen, please just put something in the comment section, because otherwise I think I'm frozen. Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right, so my next topic is, Bryce Lindley. So have you guys heard about this? A 10-year-old boy, what state? In the US, was at his elementary school playing dodgeball, and I guess the dodgeball got rough, as dodgeball does. I hated dodgeball, girl, because I always got knocked out first. It's just some of these childhood things take me back, and they're not good. I just wasn't quick enough. So yeah, Bryce, who is Black, 10-year-old, third or fourth grade, he is playing dodgeball at his school, and somehow this another little boy got injured, like bad. And like they said, he had a black eye, and then he had a concussion, and he had like some kind of scar tissue. I don't really know. People always say scar tissue, and I'm always like, what does that mean? But anyway, so he had some kind of whatever. And the boy Bryce got suspended from one day of school, I guess because he was playing too rough. And then months later, Bryce's parents get a phone call from Court Juvenile Hall stating that charges have been pressed against their son, 10 years old. So the family of the boy who was hurt during this, and it's not like him and Bryce were the only two people playing dodgeball. I don't know if there was anybody else involved, but they said that he threw the ball at the boy on purpose, and that the little boy had some kind of already head trauma or something, some kind of condition which makes any kind of blows to the head dangerous for him. And so the family says that they didn't want to press charges, but this is the second time this incident, something like this has happened. And so the mom was fed up. The mom didn't put her face on the screen, but it was clear by her hands that she was a white woman. And so this turned into a race situation. And I'm trying to think, like, is it a race situation? If Bryce had been white, would, I'm going to call him Ryan, would Ryan's mother have gone as far as to press charges? And also my thought is, what outcome from pressing charges do you think would happen? Did you think that A, Bryce would be taught a lesson by going to juvenile hall? B, did you think Bryce's family could afford to pay you for things? Like, what was the outcome that you thought would come from you pressing charges against a 10-year-old? And that's where I think to myself, it could be something to do with race, because I think that no rational parent, and I get it, but maybe I don't get it, right? Maybe I don't understand how someone whose child has some kind of head trauma would send them to a school and allow that child to play a game, or at least not alert the school that this child, because, kids are going to want to play games, right? Like, my brother had really, really bad eyesight growing up, and they actually told my parents that he shouldn't play any contact sport because he could lose his vision or something. But my brother was still out there trying to play games, right? And when my parents found out that he was still playing games, it was up to them to let the school know that my brother couldn't be playing games. And so then my brother wasn't allowed to play. Anytime they saw him running around, they were like, get off, come here, you sit over here, read a book, And so, like, that is my thought, is like, why wasn't the school alerted? Or if the school was alerted, why weren't they the ones to stop Ryan? I don't know if that's his name. His mother didn't want his picture released, her face, or his name. Why wasn't that someone there to stop Ryan? Because what the mom says is that this has happened before. I don't know if Bryce was the person playing with him before, but that it happened before. And Ryan said, "It's okay, Mom. Bryce is my friend. We're going to be fine. We're going to talk about it tomorrow at school, and everything's going to be cool." And I guess a couple of months later, they're playing again, and it happens. And I don't know if these kids are bullying Ryan, I don't know what's going on, but my thing is that they're 10 years old, and Bryce's mother and father were not aware at all of the condition that the little boy had, or, like, I guess the previous situations. Like, maybe, Bryce's mother would have been like, stop playing with Ryan, because that would have been me. As soon as I found out that Ryan had some head condition and that he can't play. I'm like, listen, I know you want to be friends with Ryan or whatever, but you need to stop playing with Ryan. Because that mother sounds like she's not irrational, but you know how there's some parents who like are really, really about saving their children from every single incident that happens in their life because they had some childhood trauma and they wanted their parents to be there. So they're always ready to march up to the school. Like I just told my dad the other day, I was like, you were not ready to march up to any school. You were ready to pull out the belt and whip me because of what some people said that I did. And he was like, blah, blah, blah. And so we got into a little like argument where he got upset because he doesn't like when I critique his parenting, which I do often because I'm like, I have some critiques for you, sir. But I just think like in what space did Ryan's mother feel like it was appropriate to put charges against a 10-year-old and send him to juvenile hall? Like, what did she think was going to happen? She thinks that he deserves to go to juvenile hall. They're both 10 years old and the kid that has the ailment is on the playground playing. It's not like he's sitting on a bench and Bryce just threw the ball in his face. So, I mean, and Bryce is crying, like, so obviously he feels bad about it and like got suspended and like, the school took appropriate action for it, which I'm just like, the fact that he got suspended, did anyone else get suspended? Did anyone else get apparently there's 2 boys. Like, so who's the other boy? And did the other boy get charges brought up against him? So I just wanted more information and also think that dodgeball should not be played in school. Like it's a terrible game, It's an asshole game for assholes. Especially that ball, and it's supposed to be a softball. That ball is not soft. That rubber ball will hit dink you in the head. The sound of it gives me anxiety. Okay. So anyways, that is all that I think I have for morning tea, you guys. Was there anything? I'm sure there's a lot of things that I missed. I don't know who Meg Thee Stallion is. I don't know what a hot girl summer is, but it is hot. I'm a girl and it's summer. So I feel like I'm having one. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This is a really short morning tea. I have to eat breakfast and then I have to come back on and I'm going to be doing my 90 Day Fiance Tell All recap. So join me here at 1 p.m. back on my channel, Just Call Me Wa, and we're going to do a 90 Day Fiance Tell All. We're going to talk about Chantel. We're going to talk about all of them. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any topics throughout the week that you want me to talk about, please email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com. Super, super appreciate it. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic day. And remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Also, I have merch below and give this video a thumbs up.